What's going on, guys, and welcome back to my channel for another Football Manager tips and tricks video. In this video, we are going to be talking about team dynamics and how you can make your squad as happy and as content as possible to make sure that they get the best results on the pitch. This is something that is actually quite difficult to strike a right balance with, especially if you're not winning game on game on game. So let's dive in and I'll give you some tips on how to improve your club dynamic. Okay then, guys, so there are three main things in the dynamic section that you need to take into consideration. We are currently in game. We are at my Juventus, or in my Juventus save and my Glory Hunter save, which we are doing over on Twitch, twitch.tv/HoodGamingUK. Link will be in the description. Please do head on over, check out this save in person yourself, and you can see how we're doing in terms of managing our club dynamic in a live Football Manager environment. But the main things you need to take into consideration are the team cohesion. So it is kind of, well, there's four main things. Team cohesion. The players have forged an extremely strong understanding. That is through work on the training ground. And as you can see, the positives for this are the team's collective mental state has seen a significant improvement. This will greatly improve player positioning during matches, and players will experience a considerable improvement to their vision and reactions to events unfolding when playing. How many times have you guys seen your centre-back go to claim a ball and they're just so far and away behind the play? Having good team cohesion will help against that. The second thing, club atmosphere. As you can see, we have an excellent club atmosphere here, and that is because we don't have any issues at the club. There are currently no players with issues in this team, or at least no major issues. I'll get into that a bit in a minute. As you can see, the players are enjoying playing together. They are all pulling in the same direction and should have no cause for complaint for anything other than the most serious of issues. As you can see, though, with the positives underneath, we are in a good run of form at the moment. We currently have no unhappy players at the club. We currently have 50 players at the club, including 25 for the first team, who are considered to be very happy. And the club has many players who share similar friends amongst the squad, and there are many players who speak a common language. Club atmosphere is vitally important, guys. That is usually where these issues crop up, and that will directly correlate to the club atmosphere. Now, this is where you have to make sure everyone is happy. If you have unhappy players, sell them, loan them out. If they're unhappy about their game time, please do get rid of them. It really impacts the club atmosphere, having that one bad egg that can really transform a dressing room in a really bad way. The third thing, managerial support. Now, this primarily does come to winning football matches. The more you win, the more your players will trust you. As you can see here, the players are very happy to have me leading the club and are looking forward to the future with you at the helm. I've got a strong influence over a number of the players, strong relationships with a number of the players, and you have a good reputation when compared with the players, which is nice. Obviously, we are in March 2028 in this save. We have achieved quite a lot. We've won several trophies, which is great. And that is why that is the case. Obviously, if you're starting out as a lower manager, you need to build up this reputation, but you do so basically by winning games. And the last thing you need to really take into consideration is the top influencers in your dressing room. As you can see, my top influencers here are Matthias de Ligt and Weston McKennie. And then obviously we do have the social groups as well. But this is our top influencers, guys. Keeping these two guys happy means, for the most part, your squad will be happy. Identifying these two is absolutely paramount to the success of the dynamic section. When I came into this club, Juventus hadn't qualified for the Champions League. That's why there was a vacancy there. And Matthias de Ligt was very unhappy. He wanted to play Champions League football. I begged him to stay, and he has. We've managed to get through 2 transfer windows, both the summer and the January, with him, and he basically said he wanted to see how the club progressed in the time. We've progressed really well, so he is now happy. When he was unhappy, this club atmosphere was tragic, guys. I can't say how bad it was. But the way you find your top influencers, obviously it will say the top 2 here, but if you click on this tab here, this will reveal your club hierarchy. So obviously you have team leaders, highly influential players, and other, and obviously yourself, the manager, at the top. Keeping your team leaders happy is vitally important. Make sure that they get game time. Obviously, if you're trying to make a lot of changes to your team you're going in, they're an absolute car crash. You need to make changes. I understand that. Try and not rock the boat too much. Like, as you can see here, I've got a centre back and 2 centre mids here. And they all need game time. Keeping your team leaders happy is massively important. It also does help that my team leaders have very good personalities as well. I've got 2 professionals and 1 resolute personality. That really does help with this as well. Obviously, you can really try and influence this by making sure your highly influential players, or lots of players that are playing games for you. That will keep them happy. That will keep the team spirit up. You also have to consider the social groups tab within the dynamics section. As you can see here, we have a core social group, which is made up of one of our team leaders and several highly influential players. The secondary social group, as you can see, is made up of people who have been roughly at the club for the same amount of time and are generally professional. And as you can see, this is where Delict, McKinney, Kingsley Coman, Wojciech Szczesny, Ruben Diaz, all of these players are, and making sure that these groups are kind of fitting nicely. The fact that we have Sandro Tonali in the other section, the reason he is here is because he is pretty new to the club. You'd like to think, considering Tonali has a fairly determined personality, he will probably end up in the core social group once he's been at the club for a little bit more period of time. Now, we talk happiness and we talk morale. When you go into your squad, you can see the morale of players here is, for the most part for us, it's either exceptional, superb, or perfect. This is not going to be the case at every club, and I personally don't think that this tab gives you a very good representation of how happy players are. For that, you need to go back into the dynamics section. You need to go into the happiness tab. Now, I monitor this like it's going out of style, because I like to make sure that everyone is happy with everything, ideally. So, as you can see here, Wojciech Szczesny has a concern. Despite his superb morale, he is concerned about his amount of playing time. And you can kind of see why. Despite him being 37 years of age, Wojciech Szczesny, what is his game time? Short term, let's change this to playing pathway. Okay, so he's expected to be an emergency backup, which is actually fine, but despite him actually, playing for Juventus for such a long period of time, making so many career appearances, he definitely has dropped off over the last couple years. You can kind of see why he's unhappy with his game time, concerned with his game time, but he is listed as a backup. This is where the playing pathway is so vitally important. You don't want to overpromise players. As you can see, all my team leaders, superb, perfect, superb. They're satisfied in every capacity. 2 of them are delighted with their playing time, and 1 of them is very happy, giving them the overall happiness of delighted, which is why it feeds into the other tab and the overview, and you make sure that everyone's happy. However, moving further down the page, as you can see here, we have Hamid Junior Traore and Hans Guzens, one of my new gens. They are in good spirits. Their morale is exceptional and superb respectively. However, they have slight issues with training. Their happiness for training has gone down slightly. Same with this guy here, another one of the new gens. So this is potentially something to monitor. You always get these emails about players being unhappy with the level of training. This is how you monitor it. This is how you can see it's kind of coming your way, and you can kind of prevent it. So what I'll probably do with this save is I'll go into Guzens, and he's slightly unhappy with his development in his training. So we go to his training and let's see what he's working on. He's working on playing the striker on the double intensity. Maybe we should attribute him either an additional focus to sort of boost his training, or you can kind of discuss a new trait with him and see if he's willing to learn something new that will obviously make him focus on training a little bit more, and that will remove his unhappiness with training. Other things that you can notice here, if I scroll down a little bit, you have a couple more players. Some of them are going to be behind my head, so let me just move my head. Let me move my head here for the purpose of this. So as you can see here, Pepe, he is an influential player, and he is concerned about his game time, but he is still happy. Again, this is something you may want to monitor. However, you can see if you look at Pepe here, I'll scroll down again. I will scroll down again. Come on, game. You can see that we have transfer listed Pepe, we have loan listed Pepe, and he is wanted by Lyon. So despite him being concerned, we can somehow get rid of him out of the club and make sure that we don't have him getting more and more concerned. Behind that, you have one of these wingers here, Orejo. He is only content at the moment. He has just arrived on loan, or in the January transfer window, he has just arrived. So we need to make sure that we can do what we can to make him happy. He's happy in every facet of the game, every compartment of this so far. He's happy with training, happy with his treatment, happy with the club, happy with management, and happy with his playing time. But he's only content overall. And I think that will probably come down to the fact that he's not actually our player. And then we've got Salamanca and Malaguti. Matteo Malaguti, that's another new gen. They are both concerned about their playing time. Again, this is something we can monitor. Maybe when we're winning games and absolutely blowing teams out like we have been, this is where we can monitor stuff and we can give Scaramanca a little bit more game time and maybe rotate them in and use them as substitute options, because their playing pathway time is surplus to requirements, pain. And what else have we got? Who else was it? Malaguti. Here's a youngster breakthrough prospect. So I will probably prioritize this guy getting some game time in the near future. If things aren't as rosy as they are for me here, you can go and make a team meeting. Excuse me, guys. I'm just going to move my camera back to its usual position. There we go. The next thing you have is the team meeting. Now, you don't necessarily have to do team meetings just before big games. You can hold a team meeting kind of whenever you want. As you can see at the top, my overall atmosphere in the dressing room, everyone's happy. Everyone is happy. And I just want to kind of reinforce that. If things are going bad, you can hold a team meeting and say to the guys, I know we've been on a bad run. You can really push through. This is the time to dig deep. You know, all of these football manager cliches. We're in a very good spot at the moment. We've got 25 players in attendance, and I am given these options. We've been doing okay lately, but I know we can do better. Let's kick on and give the fans something to shout about. We've been playing really well lately, and I'm delighted with how things are going. Keep up the good work, and I'm really keen to ensure that our heads don't drop. Things have been going our way, but we've got the ability in this squad to change the fortune. So I don't need the encourage, so it's going to be one of the two positive ones. And I actually think with this squad, we've been doing very, very well, and I'm delighted with how things are going. So that's what I'm going to say to the boys. Everyone seems happy about that. Everyone has agreed. We've been in good form lately. It's always good to know that, says another one of my new gens who's been renamed on stream, thanks to my channel points. I'm just going to say that's exactly the sort of reaction we were after. We go in, and as you can see, everyone's sort of, I'm slightly disappointed to say the majority of players have been left unaffected, but this doesn't necessarily mean that everything is going downhill. As you can see, the managerial support has gone up a little smidge from this meeting, despite none of the players actually going up in terms of their morale. But this is definitely a feature that you can do. It doesn't necessarily have to be around big games, trying to go into end of season relegation battles. You can hold a team meeting pretty much whenever you like, guys. And if things are going well, tell the team, let them know things are going well. One final tip from me, as you can see here, when you get this email through, you can see you get these after every game. As you can see, Juventus hammer Bologna, you get the option to kind of praise your player of the match. Do it. The fact that Matthias de Ligt, for me, scored a goal in this game, and he's my skipper, and he's in my top tier of most influential players, make sure he's happy. Once this comes through, right click on him, go down to speak about, go down to praise player, and praise his recent form or his last game. He's been playing very well for me recently, so I'm going to praise his recent form. It brings up this little quick interaction. You want to see me, shall we get down to business? Your form has been really good recently. I hope it improves. I hope it stays well. He doesn't think he's played well enough to deserve praise. Looks like we have different standards about this. Ooh. Okay. I don't think my standards are different to yours, but let's look forward for even better performances from now. That's actually impacted his morale negatively, usually once players have played a game. I think this is because I've gone 2 games back. Yeah, I've gone 2 games back. That's probably why he's upset, because we didn't keep a clean sheet in the last game. But these little quick interactions, guys, are really good for boosting player morale. Obviously, I've impacted mine here. Don't do this. But make sure you go in and thank and praise players, especially your man of the match. After each game, go in and praise him. Say well done for his recent performance. Well done for the last game. It will make a big difference, guys. So despite me butchering Matthias de Ligt at the end there, I think I've given you some nice little pointers and nice little ways to make sure your team is happy. Some little things to keep an eye on. The happiness tab for me is something that I look at all the time, making sure that everyone is happy, content with training, everyone's happy with their game time and stuff like that. So make sure you go and check it out in your save. How many of you guys do use the dynamics tab to impact your save? I find that when we have a great dressing room dynamic, the team is infinitely better on the pitch. If you think that's the case, do let me know down in the comments, but that is where I'm going to leave things for today. If you have enjoyed today's video, don't forget to drop a like on it down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new around here for daily Football Manager videos, and I'll be back at 5 PM tomorrow with another episode of my Pentagon Challenge, guys. So hopefully I'll see you guys there.